Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Home Cooking. As always, you got the chef over here in Alan, and you always got the blessed one. Blesco, what's good?
Not much on, living the dream. How you doing today?
Hey, man, we're just trying to be honest, I'm just trying not to be as scruffy being inside so often, but it is what it is. So,
That
Blesco,
beard's looking pretty grizzly though, so you have to do
yeah,
something
I
about
mean, we might
that.
have to let it go for a little while, but we'll see. We'll see where that takes us. But Blesco, what do we have on the menu?
On the menu today, we have some playful topics, but more importantly, we have a guest today, the one and only Bill Vesna. Bill joining us from Windsor. How you doing down there?
Excellent, excellent. How are you guys?
We're good.
Doing great.
First,
All right.
thank you for joining us. We're gonna hit it off with topics like the Blue Jays because they've been cooking something up lately, and it's time we sat down with you. We've been waiting for the Blue Jays to make a splash to bring you on,
Oh,
truthfully.
we've been
And
waiting
Exactly.
for them to do something all off season. The joke, Blue Jays interested, and then they miss out. They miss out on everyone. Every single free agent, Blue Jays interested, and then now we finally have something, some momentum going, and I like it.
yeah, we were interested too but now we sealed the deal. Alan, hit it off for us. Oh, I guess the second topic we're gonna talk about is sports gambling because I'm sure we all have some interesting experiences and stories about how it can all go so sour so soon. And we're gonna finish off with OT. But Alan, why don't you hit it off for us?
Okay, I mean, it's customary that whenever we have a guest, Bill, we just hit him off with some questions.
I'm
But
ready.
hey, Bleska's got the good ones, but I'm just gonna hit you off with something totally different, unexpected, and
Oh, I'm
you're gonna have
nervous.
to just quickly dig into this. But is this I'm gonna hit you with a true or false, and you gotta tell me if it's like why it is. But at your student housing, did you guys have like some like drinking scepter or like
Do we have like a chalice?
you had a chalice or
Like
something?
a Is
I've
that what you're
heard.
at? Like a communal, like something that we all drank from? I don't think we did.
I thought you
I
guys
don't.
did. You had
I
like a sword or
don't.
something,
A sword? I don't think we did in my student house. No,
or
geez.
you had a wall of fame or
A
something.
sword you guys all drank from.
Yeah, there was a wall of fame where like pictures of people went up. I didn't run that. I didn't have a vote on who went on the wall. I just got to look at it. And then we had a giant cardboard cutout of a Smirnoff bottle that everyone signed. You guys signed it, didn't you?
Yeah, I signed
I
it.
actually don't know.
What's the sign? Yeah, I don't know. It's in the garbage now. So.
I think I signed it in New Year's a couple years ago.
Oh, it was bat. It was a bat. Yo, it was like Bertha or something like that.
Bertha.
Oh, yeah, we had like a baseball bat that just was in the living room, and like
Or was it drinking bat?
it
I
had
don't.
a no, it wasn't it had nothing to do with drinking. It just had a splinter in it, so you couldn't use it for baseball, and it just became part of the living room furniture because that's what you do when you have no money and you're in university and you just live with a bunch of other students. You just put stuff in your living room.
Fair enough. Okay, well I'm gonna keep this going with Alan. I caught me slipping, but we're gonna do it anyways with the this or that questions that we usually do just to warm our guests up. So, are you ready?
I'm warm.
Okay, so tacos or burgers,
Burgers.
swimming or acting?
Oh, that one's a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to like cop out, but I think it has to depend on my mood. Like, do I
Yeah.
want to be alone? If I want to be alone, if I want to think, swimming is great. When you're under the water, there's no other noise, just your thoughts. But sometimes you want to be with people. I gotta go swimming though. Swimming, final answer.
Okay,
Well,
fair. Okay, the people that come into the LCBO in London versus the people that come into the LCBO in Windsor, or the liquor store for those who don't know what the LCBO
Uh,
is.
yeah. I mean, I work at the LCBO. I worked in London. Now I'm in Windsor. I think the London one. I like the London one. Yeah.
Do you get as much action or?
No, everyone. The store I'm at in Windsor is like a wealthier area, so everyone's just boring and snobby. Or like, I like. There's more character when you're in a store. You know, that's not just so many rich people, and I feel like they're all looking down on me sometimes. So I like the London one a little better. The people that come in will actually talk to you a little more.
I dig it. Okay, dogs or bears?
My dog is named Bear, but I gotta go with the dogs.
Okay.
He's over there playing.
I thought I'd be sneaky in here, but okay. Speaking of roommates, living with guys or living with a girl?
Well, I would take living with the girl who I live with now.
Fair. Oh.
That's number one. But in general, I think living with guys, like if it's just roommates.
Yeah, I
Okay.
take it. And to finish off, what's one quarantine hobby that you picked up? Or are you the same old Bill?
Well, at the start of quarantine, I was running a lot, and then it got cold, so I took up running, and then I dropped it as soon as it stopped being fun. But let's say running, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I take it. All right, bring up our first topic of the day, why don't you?
Okay, I'm ready to set this table. Bill, we're just gonna dive into it. The Jays, they made some big moves recently that have helped lift the spirits of the fan base, considering that the whole offseason, like you said, every article and every baseball player, free agent, or on the trade market, they're saying, hey, Jays were interested. Jays were the second place. The Jays got a couple guys or made a couple moves, specifically in injured high-end reliever that hopefully he can come back to form healthy, in Kirby Yates, and obviously the massive historical contract for the Toronto Blue Jays and George Springer. So just give me your take on the offseason so far and like your struggles before these guys got signed.
Yeah, so before they signed Kirby Yates and George Springer, like I was definitely feeling the frustration. It's a very frustrated fan base. Like I hopped on like the Blue Jays interested joke. I wasn't like that upset, but it was getting to the point where it's kind of funny where literally every single article tagged the Blue Jays as like being interested in this guy, being interested in that guy, like wanting like making a proposal for a trade here or there, and like nothing was happening. But I mean, in general, across baseball, you really only had 3 or 4 teams that had done anything up to that point. So as frustrating as it was that nothing had happened, no major impact players were signed. That was true for almost every team. So I was holding on to some hope, and it paid off. Obviously, well, Rogers paid out, more like it, and they got, like I said, a great. A closer who is dominant in 2019, and hopefully can bounce back and return to that form. And George Springer, who, I mean, almost any team, if you put him in center field, they become a better team. So just super excited to have him and to see what he's about this coming year.
So going off of that, you're talking about Kirby Yates and George Springer, obviously, but do you think these two moves, like, does that push Toronto into a place where, more, free agents will be willing to jump on the team? Maybe not this year, but like in the coming summers or whatever, or winters, I say, when they have their off season.
Yeah, I think this year will be telling. I mean, based off of last year, a little surprise postseason berth. If they can build off that this year, they better maybe contend for whatever, a better playoff spot, go a little deeper in the push. They're not World Series contenders as much as we all might want to pretend, or I might want to pretend they are. They're not as of yet, but the more you win, the more appealing you become. And this offseason was particularly hard because players don't even know if they're going to be able to play in Toronto, and people don't like uncertainty. And so that's partially why I was so surprised that they actually managed to pull off the Springer deal, because he could have gone pretty much wherever he wanted. And yet he chose Toronto. Obviously money, a big factor, but he chose Toronto despite we don't know if they're going to be able to play in Canada this season.
It's tough. I think that I feel bad for Toronto because even in the comment section on a lot of different articles on guys that they're interested in, they're talking about how Canada has to or the Jays, they got to put the extra year, the extra millions just to attract someone to go across the border, right? Because a lot of American players, which is presumably the majority of MLB players, they don't really consider Toronto as a market to go to, right? And
Oh,
even
for sure.
like the Jays are in a position that they could take the next step if a couple guys decide to go across the border, right? And
Yeah, you need to hear it from the players like Springer, like the big names, because you hear it all the time for baseball, for basketball too, that no one wants to go to Toronto until they're in Toronto, and then they love the experience of it, kind of thing. So you need to get someone who's like a big or well recognized name, respected player by the other players to say like I love playing in Toronto, to kind of help bring the others over. Because there are obstacles to playing in Canada. To any like of your listeners that aren't familiar with it, so the players are paid in U.S. dollars, but Ontario has, I understand, Ontario has higher taxes than most other places. In addition to being a different country than where most of these guys have lived their whole lives, so it's daunting to come play for this team, which is why oftentimes the Blue Jays need to give the extra miles, add an extra year onto a contract, pay a little bit extra for average annual value, or whatever it might be, to actually get someone to come join them, especially before they are a true contender.
it's true.
Yeah. When you talk about Toronto, a lot, like, I agree, because so many players say, I came to Toronto, I was expecting it to be like a couple years and I was gone. A couple years and I'm gone because I'm not trying to be here. And a guy that preaches this is like Kyle Lowry, which is like essentially Captain Canada. He's like pretty much we adopted him by now. Like, he thought he'd only be here for a couple years, and now he's like an all-time great. Probably a lot of people would put the hammer down, saying that he's the greatest Raptor of all time because of what he done for the organization.
And and Kyle Lowry certainly is the poster boy for this situation, because he came in with such a terrible attitude. He did not want to be here. Everyone knew he didn't want to be here, and he didn't shy away from it. And the fact that someone who had made that their stance publicly was able to turn around to be who he is now to the city of Toronto, and the city of Toronto be what it is to him as well. Like the fans go a long way in helping that out. But yeah, it's the exact same thing, that like people don't like the idea of Toronto until they know what it's actually about.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna dive a little bit deeper into George Springer, but I want a little bit of a translation. I was reading online that put this. Have you ever seen those memes on Twitter? It's like, put this into basketball terms, or put this into football terms when you got a player like that. Yeah. So I was reading like it was like George Springer coming to the Blue Jays is like Klay Thompson going, or Jimmy Butler going to a team like the Sacramento Kings. Is that what you guys would be like? Yeah, or is that in terms of just the player, mostly about the player? Is that his level, would you say, or he's more like a?
I'd say that's his level.
Regular season MVP type dude.
I don't know what Allen's. I'll let Allen get his in a bit, but I think he's like in that ballpark, like that second tier star, maybe like pushing on like first tier star. Like he's not the LeBron James of baseball. That's Mike Trout. I think Allen would agree with me. But yes. But I'd say any given year, he has a chance to be, a top 5. Not that he will be, but he has a chance to be top 5 in MVP voting, assuming that he continues at the pace that he has been playing at.
All right, so let me take a look. First of all, Bleska, I thought you were talking about how you were quickly comparing like Sacramento to Toronto, and I was like, excuse me. Toronto isn't that bad. They're on the way up. George Springer,